This experience would start out with me in some period in time and space. It was of like child soldiers. Everybody, all the kids and teenagers, maybe up to the age of about 20, they all wore these exoskeleton suits. And so I was tasked with rescuing a select few. And so I would lead them away from their lines that they were following. And we went into the air vents. Well, as I'm climbing through the air vents, I didn't really know where to go. So I asked Rebazar, I was like, Rebazar, where do I go? Where do I lead them to? And so I heard little dings and pops that were no doubt his guidance, the sound of it. So I went that way, and it led me closer to the exit. And then as I go farther into the vents, I realized this is a really familiar experience, and that I had led this escape before. So I decided to switch things up. I asked Rebazar Tars if I could see my tap lines, and well, everything went black, and a new scene would appear right in front of me. I was crouched behind like a fallen tree out of sight, and in the distance was a big old castle with a big wooden gate, and in front of the castle there were these soldiers marching with weapons and spears and flintlock revolvers, all falling in line in big long groups, and they were all stopped and gathered in front of this big chessboard. And this chessboard had all kinds of religious figures on it. I mean, priests, crosses, and different things, but they were all just pieces on the chessboard. And the preacher, the guy who was basically looking up to the sky with his arms open, that whole idea, he had a dead body placed in front of him from a big hand. And so I was watching all this take place, and it was just chaos. I mean, total chaos. There was tanks rolling around, machinery everywhere. And so they would all come to a halt before this chessboard. And I received the impression it was some form of religious ritual, but was also told it was for the dark church. And so after all of that took place, in front of me appeared a bucket that was suspended in the air by two chains. Well, one of the chains would come loose, and so the bucket was suspended by one chain. And this was kind of my green light to enter the scene. And as soon as I pulled my head back from where I was observing all of this chaos, I was much larger. And so I stepped on the scene, and all of this stuff that looked really big, these preachers, this chessboard, the soldiers, the tanks, they were all like little toys. And I mean, I just started throwing them. I started clearing all the tables off, everything. And yeah, that was the experience. Thank you.
Okay, Jeremy, that's really cool. If you would please write that down here. Okay, I'm going to use that and create a group with ideas like that and others. What you're seeing is the monarchy that rules this world. And the chessboard is, yes, they rule the chessboard. They move the players around. They're like the gods. They move these pieces around the chessboard because the earth is like Monopoly. It's a big chessboard, and that's what you're seeing. And yes, the religious order with the monarchy is really the ruler. It looks like the political system, but no, it's a buffer. It's really religious nonsense and the gods that rule. And they created the political system as a front, like everything else, but mainly the political system, because it's all religious, sacrificial, human farming here. So that's what you're seeing. Cool. And yes, you're doing your part. You're brave enough to step up and throwing some of the pieces that are moved around off the chessboard. And of course, you're going to be confronted by this because the monarchy, they're not going to like it at all. But you decide. So again, very few people will do this, but this is where the adventure and the so-called protection come up, because you have to prove yourself if the boys are going to back you. So they're going to constantly put you in situations to see how you'll do, and if you'll step up and be brave, and then they will back you. That's how the protection works. Very interesting. Thank you, Jeremy.
So it pertains to the experience that I just shared. There was a little second part. So as I was clearing away these tables, I sat back and I just kind of said thank you to Rebazar, and I said, what you're doing here is great. This is great for everybody, and I'm very grateful for this. And I talked to Fubi Quants as well. I asked him how he was doing. He said he's doing good. And all the voices I heard came back from behind me on the left side. And so then I eventually heard Kevin speak, and Kevin said to bring in somebody, and we're going to show me, more about Lindsay, an individual named Lindsay. And I'm not sure who Lindsay is, but the scene would change to a nice nature-looking area with a nice little ranch home where these two women spoke and a boy entered the scene. And I got the impression one was mother and the other was daughter and her friend. And I was just watching this scene play out, and they couldn't see me, but I received the impression that shortly after this whole experience that someone was going to pass, and it was great, and it was going to greatly affect the daughter in many ways.
Okay, we'll see what happens there. All right, my daughter's name is Lindsay. It's interesting. And the boys being in back you on the left side because you know them, and yes, they're there. You don't always see them, but they're there. They see you, but they also want to see you, how you're going to do, and etc. And they always see your intent. So that's very important to recognize all the time is your intent, because that's the real you. From there, everything happens, you decide. And again, thank you. It's great, Jeremy. Good to see you. It's cool. You're the youngster here, so you can have a lot of fun, and it's good for you. You started young. It's harder as people get older, but you see what's going on, it becomes very real. Yes, thank you for stepping up. See you soon.
This planet Earth needs a lot of help from all of us right now. Dean Val of NUUU, Nations United, UNUversal, UNUversity, is contacting people around this world every day to share the importance of the all-natural environment supporting all of us. Dean Val and Duane Lee Heppner.org 501c3 have created CAN, Community Action Network, to help all communities become aware of how to be self-sufficient with permaculture and food and rainforests. We are always looking for real people to step up, who want to learn what life on this earth is all about. We will be leasing large portions of land to create something wonderful for all communities everywhere. Contact Val Vittles on Skype and Facebook to get involved with what we all can do now, or through the phone number provided or the website in the links. Duane the Great Writer.net. Join us for weekly environment awareness Skypes every Sunday at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The NUUU, Nations United, UNUversal, UNUversity, is dedicated to supporting and providing a real purpose and real awareness with the all-natural environment supporting all of us. First comes this earth with food and rainforests, and to protect what is still here. For those who have the awareness to see what is actually taking place here, with all the natural devastation, which is also purposely planned by WorldKontrollers, you now have a real opportunity to step up and do something with those who also care about your planet Earth. Duane Lee Heppner has created the NUUU, Nations United, UNUversal, UNUversity, which completely entails the all-natural environment everywhere, and a real education that has real value, and that far surpasses any commonly created indoctrinating educational system that does not focus on what sustains all of us naturally. Real survival makes sense with everything here that is self-sustaining.